Hello once again, and welcome to another season of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock. Today we're going to talk about cross country, volleyball, and we'll get you caught up on all the scores and the upcoming schedule. First up on today's episode, though, we're going to talk with head coach Brett Crowley about his cross country teams. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Caleb. Thanks for having me again.
Well, obviously, from what I hear, a great start to your season. Tell us a little bit about it.
You've described it and hit it on the head. We are very pleased. This early going with 9 freshmen out of our 15 runners. Starting with the Red Wolf Rumble and even leading into the IWU meet, our progress has been steady, and especially for our men, who are still, many of whom are still learning how to run the 8K race, and for our women who've been a little nicked up are starting to get back in better health and train a little bit harder, and things are moving forward as we hope they would.
All right, well, before we talk about those meets, let's talk about your teams. Tell us about who you expect some of the key runners to be on your women's team.
Well, again, not only as a junior, but just our most natural leader is Morgan Stanley from Winchester. Has really worked hard this summer. Really made great strides, not only in her personal development as a runner, but as a student and as a leader. She is the unquestioned leader of our team. But she has backup too, in Haley Rogers, the development of Allie Can from Triton Central. I would say Edna Green, but nobody would know who Edna Green is in Indiana. But our 2 sophomores and Teresa Hilsman, who has steadily over the last 3 years improved and is really contributing well. With the additions of Grace Rushi and even Haley Day and Tessa Rodas, have really contributed to our 7 women that have become the heart of our group and our team. But Morgan is definitely the unquestioned leader of our group.
Now, how do you expect those newcomers to fit into the program?
I think over time, our hope is in not really high expectations. We don't anticipate that our 3 freshmen are going to come out and run the 5K in 18 minutes right away. Tessa is coming off of this summer an ankle injury. Grace has had some hip problems. Haley Day joined us as a walk-on. Has had some knee troubles. And they're really rounding into shape and learning what sort of competition they're running against. But their development has been excellent from our time trials to now. All 3 of those athletes have dropped at least significant time. Tessa especially. Tessa came to us really not having her wind or any endurance whatsoever. From our time trial to our first 2 meets has dropped nearly 5.5 minutes. So the sky is the limit for those 3.
And what's it like for you as a coach to see that kind of improvement this early?
This is really unique. I mean, it's very encouraging. We've really tried to emphasize not so much the results, but more what we call our team concept, really trying to be more of a unified group and working together, pack running as often as we can, training differently, training in partners, and being more accountable for our actions on and off the course. And all those things have translated, I think, into really solid results. I'm not, this time around, we're more concerned about the process and the training scenarios where, previous teams were more veteran-oriented, and we were trying to compete and more focused on quote-unquote winning. But this time around, with the young team, working on more of the habits and developing those habits have really paid off, and hopefully that continues.
Now, who do you expect some of the key runners to be on your men's team?
Well, Adam Klipstein, pound for pound, is the heart of our team. All 5 foot 4 inches of him. He has the biggest lung capacity of any of the Red Wolves. And then, on the other extreme, 6'4", our transfer, Braden Burke, who came to us from Lake Erie College in Ohio, is the other end of the spectrum. But we have, really 4 really solid freshmen. One who's having to sit out right now, Matthias Ritter from Hagerstown, who can be, I think, a very solid cross-country runner, an under 30-minute runner. From that standpoint, Parker West, Cole Dudley, and Blake Brooks are all bring a lot of talent to us. And then Steady Eddie, who also provides, I think, along with Adam, a lot of solid leadership, and Kyle Hall. So he and Adam have really been a good tag team effort, I think, in terms of leadership. But Adam has really stepped up to the plate and been more of a verbal leader, as well as leading by example in practice, and his results so far, as well as the others, reflect it.
All right, well, let's break into a couple of the meets so far. The first one we mentioned was the Red Wolf Rumble. Tell us a little bit about that, how the women's team did.
Well, this is, again, our annual and hopefully a tradition from that standpoint. This year we only saw, and we acted more as a dual meet between us and Ohio Christian. As I'll talk about the men, Wilberforce joined us for the men's race. But the Red Wolf Rumble is kind of the opening act to hopefully a really good 7-act Broadway play. And to be at home, we don't have many home meets outside of this one and where we'll be at Earlham. So it gives us a chance to run in front of our friends and family on a really difficult place to train and to run. The IU East cross country course is up and down, lots of rollers, and finishes uphill, and and can be a very stern test. And overall, for both of our teams, we trained really well and prepared really well for that particular event, and really didn't know what to expect. Our women's team especially was a little nicked up. Men's team was really ready to go, and both teams stood out and really performed extremely well at that particular event, and some pretty hot weather too for that matter.
Now, how about the Indiana Wesleyan invite? Tell us about that one as well.
Well, unique to our course, rolls up and down. Indiana Wesleyan and Marion is flat as a pancake. So they have an outstanding course. Eric Jackson is a friend of mine. There's one of the associate head coaches and does a great job as a meet director there. And it really is fast and flat. A lot of opportunities for PRs. And the hill training really did well by our team. Obviously, an example, Morgan was in the 22s of the Red Wolf Rumble, set a personal record in 20:54. And obviously the extra endurance in running the hills for all of our team. And for our men to have really 4 or 5 men that are below 30. Again, Kyle Hall and Caleb Appleby are another freshman who walked on this particular year from Tri. Is really in positioning themselves to be under 32. So to have that many PRs this early on as a young team against some really stern competition. IWU's men's team is ranked number 6 in the country. Nino Bellinelli ran, I think, a PR himself that day in 24 minutes for the AK. Aaron Behrens from Taylor did something similar on the women's side. So for us to acquit ourselves against some of the best in the NAI was a really good thing. Anything else you'd like to add about your team or this season? Well, so far, they've been a joy to coach. I feel energized. Last spring was a little tough on me, specifically from transitioning from track back to cross country. And we arranged some things to hopefully make this season better for our athletes in cross country. And again, emphasizing that team concept has really paid big dividends so far. If we just remain healthy, I think this could be a unique year, and everything we do is a lead into what we do into the conference. So while on the scoreboard it may have not been that impressive at IWU on the quote-unquote official scorecard, but to have 9 PRs is a good lead in, hopefully, to what would happen in November when we go to Rio Grande for the KIC. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Coach. Let's take a look at what Coach Crowley and some of the runners had to say following the Red Wolf Rumble.
I did really good today. I ran my first and second mile. I strategically tried to go slower, not go with everyone else. But as a team, I feel like we were all as a pack, which was really good, and I felt like we all did really good today.
It was really good to get the team win, especially for first meet of the season, and defend our home course. And there's already been like a ton of improvement. I know Parker, Cole, Blake, Kyle, everyone. It's kind of unbelievable the amount of improvement I saw, because like they all ran really good races and they were all right behind me. So I think I'm really happy with how our team did.
But I'm a happy coach. Again, as an opening act, this is as good an event as we've had. Our freshmen really acquitted themselves well, really used their heads and ran smart today. It's a smaller meet. Our women's team, again, didn't know exactly what to expect, but they really acquitted themselves well. Again, I'm very pleased for both of our teams. It's a good start. It's something to build on, and we know we can improve, and we're looking forward to better things this coming fall.
I think that our teams both did awesome and that we're very close and very united this year, which is actually really awesome. That's it.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to Inside IUE Sports. It's time to talk about volleyball. And joining me to do so is volleyball head coach Abby Niekamp. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about your program. Obviously, a younger program this year, but how's the season going?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're 7-8 right now, which isn't the greatest record, but we had a tough couple of weekends out for our first couple of tournaments. So it's been an interesting year so far.
Well, before we talk about some of those tournaments and some of the other games, let's talk about your roster. You've got 7 freshmen on the roster, to be exact. What do you think who do you think some of the key players are?
Both of our setters this year are freshmen, so we're looking to them to make some big plays this year. We're putting them in a tough spot, coming out being leaders on the court this year, so we're looking for them to step up this year. Both of our right sides are freshmen this year, and they've been doing pretty well for us. They're very consistent hitters, and Tori Snyder and Missy Bedell, so those are probably our key freshmen this year.
And where do you expect them to be at later on in the season?
Oh, all those kids are progressing so well this year. I think that they're just going to be key players all the way around.
All right, well, let's talk about the 4 sophomores on the team. There are 2 newcomers, Sydney Durham and Hannah Best. Tell us about them.
Sydney's great for us. She's a big middle hitter. She adds some height to the front row for us. She's really quick. She has a great arm swing. One thing that you'll notice about Sydney is her hands seem to hang down by her knees because her arm span is so big. So blocking, she's a big block for us up at the net. Hannah came in and she kind of adds that depth in the back row for us. She plays middle back for us, and she's scrappy. She has great ball control. So she's a great player in the back row for us.
Bailey Gates and Madison Yoder are both returning sophomores. What do you expect out of them this season?
They're both in a leadership role this year. You don't always think about sophomores being leaders, but they definitely are. Yoder commands the court as our libero, and Bailey's, we moved her to the outside this year, which is new for her, so she's been a trooper trying to step up in that position. So they've been great for us this year.
One junior on the roster. Tell us about Morgan Steinbrenner.
Oh, Morgan Steinbrenner. We like to call her Momo, actually. She is trying to lead us in the middle. Sydney is a sophomore, but she obviously transferred, so she ran sets a little bit different. So Morgan's kind of stepped up and leading her in the middle. She's great energy for us. She wants it so bad this year. She wants to win. So she's been some great energy on the court.
And how about the lone senior, Mallory Livingston? Tell us about her.
Mallory, our All-American, she is just looking to have a fun year this year. Come out. Other teams have been keying on her a ton this year just because she was our go-to last year. She was our go-to hitter. So we tried to even out the offense a little bit and get some more people going so she doesn't get every swing, so we can kind of get her going even more. So yeah, it's going to be sad losing her this year, after this year, but we're hoping to see great things out of her.
Now, with 9 new players on the roster this year, how's the team seeming to bond?
They have bonded really well. We have really good team chemistry, and that's something that we focused on over the summer. We had all the girls in here in July, and we were doing team conditioning and team bonding, and we took a couple trips. We took them canoeing. So we really focused on bonding those girls because even though some of them came in as sophomores, we have a lot of new faces trying to mesh together this year. So that was pretty much our focus in July and August, is making sure that our team was working well together. And I think it's paying off on the court because they really work well together, and they know each other really well on the court, so they know how to adjust to each other.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the games. Obviously, the season started off with 3 tournaments, 2 out of state and 1 up north. Let's start with the one up north. That was the Grace College Classic. Tell us about that one.
After Grace, we went 2-2 that weekend. The first day was kind of rough for us. We lost to Grace and Kokomo, and always losing to a conference school, it's never fun. Right. But it kind of lit a fire under the girls, and we came back the second day and were able to get 2 wins.
Now, you'll play IU Kokomo later on in the season. What do you expect in that matchup?
It was, it's so weird. Last year we played them early on in the season at the Grace tournament, and they beat up on us. the second matchup against them. So we beat them at Grace, and then they kind of took it to us the second time around. So hopefully we're going to be able to even that out and give them a really good fight the second time around.
All right, from there you went on to the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Tell us about that tournament.
That was kind of a hike for us to get down there, but it was, a lot of good competition again. So 2 tough weekends to start, yeah.
You got to go up against nationally ranked Lindsey Wilson. What was it like going up against a team like that, and how were you able to use that to prepare for the rest of the season?
Our girls were in awe of some of their players. We were just like, wow, we couldn't believe that they were playing at Lindsey Wilson. They should have been playing D1. I think that they really took a lot away from that match as far as some of the goals that they could reach, and because we're so young, the sky's the limit. So they took a lot away from that.
All right, and then how about the Point Park Battle of the Boulevard? Tell us about that tournament.
Oh, that was an interesting one for us. You made that trip with us. You know how hot it was in that gym the whole weekend. It was, we were wiping up the floor every second that we could. But that ended up being a really great weekend for us because we beat Point Park, which was our first conference win. So we were really excited about that. Our first conference match, first conference win. I think it kind of gave us some excitement for the season.
All right, let's talk about this past weekend. You went to Shawnee State, played over there, lost 3-2. Tell us about that matchup.
Oh, we're trying to get in a groove right now. It seems like every game we do something well, but we can't get everything to go well at the same time. So this weekend it was kind of tough. We dropped the first 2 sets to them, and then we started coming back, and we changed around our lineup a little bit to give them a different look. And we actually had Abby Ketchum run a 5-1 for us in the setting position, and it kind of sparked some of our hitters. It gave them a different sense of camaraderie out there. So we kind of rallied around that, and we still weren't able to pull out the win. So we're just trying to find consistency in our serve receive and our defense, and making sure we're going to the right spots on defense, and really getting our offense going. So it's like I said, we have something going well every set, and we can't quite get them all to mesh. All
right. Well, as you mentioned earlier, the team has a 7-8 record, but you have a chance to get over the 500 mark this weekend. Tomorrow, actually, with a game against both Alice Lloyd and IU South Bend. What do you expect to see out of those 2 teams? Well, Alice Lloyd is another big conference game for us, so we're hoping to get a win out of that one, and kind of, get over the 500 as far as conference goes. And then South Bend, they're a great program, so we're just going to put our best effort out there. And how do you expect your team to fall in the conference rankings? Obviously projected to finish 4th overall in the conference, but how do you think the team will end up in the conference standings at the end of the season? Oh, we're shooting for number 1. We always want to. It kind of depends on how this season plays out and how everyone else is doing. You never really know what you're going to get from the other teams. Point Park was ranked 1st coming in, and we were able to win against them in 3, which was, we thought we'd have a little bit more of a fight with them. So our girls just played really well that game. But, you never know with our conference, but we want to come out on top always. Anything else you'd like to add today before you leave? We're really excited for the season, and it's early, so we have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of potential. All right, Coach, thanks for joining me. Thank you. All right, you have it from Coach Abby Niekamp talking about the volleyball program. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
I am your physician.
I am your caregiver.
I am your spiritual support.
I am here to help you be independent
and achieve your optimal health.
But I am also a cancer survivor.
I am living with diabetes.
I am a chef.
And an artist.
I am your neighbor.
I am the face of Reed Health.
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 Reed Health, right beside you.
And welcome back to Inside IUE Sports. That sound you just heard means that it is time for Wolf Center. Wolf Center is ready to take a look back at last week's IU East results and ahead to next week's schedule. You can download the Wolf House sound you just heard for free by downloading the free IU East Athletics app at the iTunes App Store or at Google Play. Now taking a look back at last week's IU East results, on August 21st, the volleyball team opened up the season with a 3-2 loss to Grace College. Abby Ketchum had 20 assists with 11 digs. The volleyball team also lost to IU Kokomo on August 21st, 3-1. Sophomore Bailey Gates had 13 kills for IU East. On August 22nd, the volleyball team swept Trinity Christian 3-0 for their first win of the season. Mallory Livingston had 10 kills and 8 digs. The volleyball team also defeated St. Ambrose 3-1. Red Wolves junior Morgan Steinbrenner had 11 kills with 3 blocks. On August 28th, volleyball lost to Northwestern Ohio 3-1 at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Steinbrenner had 10 kills with 6 blocks. The volleyball team also lost to nationally ranked Lindsey Wilson College 3-0. Sophomore libero Madison Yoder had 12 digs. Also on August 28th, the men's cross-country team placed first in the IU East Red Wolf Rumble. Cole Dudley placed third in his IU East debut. The women's cross-country team also placed first in the Red Wolf Rumble. Morgan Stanley placed first with a time of 22 minutes. On August 29th, the men's tennis team defeated Miami Middletown 9-0. Connor Kramer won at number 1 doubles and at number 1 singles. Women's tennis also defeated Miami Middletown 9-0. Sally Wilhoit won at number 1 singles. The volleyball team lost to Union College 3-1 on August 29th. Bella Pavey had 12 assists, 5 aces, and 9 digs for the Red Wolves. IU East volleyball defeated Bethel 3-1. Mallory Livingston had 16 kills and 18 digs. On August 30th, the women's golf team placed first in the IU East tee-off. Bree Nowak finished first and tied the school record by shooting a 78. The men's golf team placed 5th in the IU East tee-off. Lance Hackman tied for 7th in his IU East debut with a score of 75. On September 2nd, the volleyball team defeated Earlham College. Freshman Missy Bedell had 4 kills and a 500 hitting average for the Red Wolves. On September 4th, the volleyball team won their first conference match of the season with a 3-0 win over Point Park at the Battle of the Boulevard. Cindy Durham had 10 kills and 5 blocks. Also on September 4th, volleyball fell to Taylor University 3-0. Durham had 8 kills and a 571 hitting average. On September 5th, volleyball defeated Lawrence Tech 3-2. Bella Pavey had 20 assists, 3 aces, and 10 digs. The volleyball team also beat West Liberty on September 5th. Mallory Livingston had 13 kills and 14 digs. Also on September 5th, the women's golf team placed 8th at the Indiana Wesleyan Fall Invite. Bree Nowak placed 9th with a score of 162. Women's tennis beat Miami Hamilton 6-1 on September 5th. Madison Bixler won at number 2 singles and won 6-0 in her first 2 matches. Men's tennis also beat Miami Hamilton on September 5th, 8-1. Colton Shipley won at number 1 doubles. On September 10th, the volleyball team lost in a KIAC match to IU Southeast 3-0. Morgan Steinbrenner had 6 kills and 1 block. On September 11th, the women's cross-country team placed 10th at the Indiana Wesleyan Invite. Morgan Stanley had the 8th fastest time in IU East school history. The men's cross-country team placed 8th at the Indiana Wesleyan Invite. Adam Klipstein placed 55th with a time of 28 minutes and 12 seconds. On September 12th, the volleyball team fell to Shawnee State 3-2. Abby Ketchum had 44 assists, 14 digs, and 4 blocks. The women's golf team placed 7th at the Bethel Invite. Megan Evans shot a 166 for 10th place. The men's golf team placed 11th at the Bethel Invite. Franklin Christ finished 3rd with a score of 144. Women's tennis lost to Carlo 5-4 on September 12th. Jordan Bowman won at number 2 doubles and at number 4 singles. Now taking a look at the upcoming schedule, on September 18th, the cross-country team will be at Indiana State University in Terre Haute, Indiana for the Indiana Intercollegiates Meet. This event is open to all cross-country programs in the state. Then on September 19th, men's tennis will be at home at Glenn Miller Park at 11 a.m. to take on Roosevelt. This is the first meeting between the 2 teams. At 1 p.m. on September 19th, volleyball will host their home opener at Seton Catholic High School against Alice Lloyd. Then the volleyball team will play their second match of the day against IU South Bend at 5 p.m. on September 19th. If you can't make it to the game, be sure to tune in for the WETV broadcast at IUERedwolves.com. And on September 21st, tennis will be home against Mount St. Joe at 3 p.m. And finally, on September 23rd, volleyball will be at Anderson University. Match time is at 7 p.m., and you can watch the game live at IUERedwolves.com. That concludes this week's episode of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock. We'll see you next time.